MJ's the GOAT. Is he? Let me ask y'all this question. I don't get into the GOAT debate because it brings out the people that say that, oh, MJ was Jaylen Brown, he was DeMar DeRozan, and so you get into the ignorant statements and comments like that. But how come nobody says that Kareem was the GOAT? Like, how come nobody says Kareem was that guy? I mean, Kareem was the leader in points, okay. But we found out once LeBron passed him, we found out, well, that doesn't mean for the MJ lovers having the most points ever. That doesn't mean anything. He won 6 titles. He won 6 MVPs. How come nobody ever says he's the GOAT? I mean, because he wasn't flashy. You have to be flashy to be good? I didn't realize. See, that statement right there. Kareem didn't change the game. They literally changed rules for him. If that's not changing the game, I don't know what is. Like, they didn't let you dunk a basketball because Kareem was dominating so much. Isn't that changing the game? The last time I checked, when they change rules because of you, isn't that changing the game? I'm just, again, if you don't think so, okay. But I would guess that's changing the game. Not to mention, he had the most unstoppable shot in the history of basketball. The most unstoppable shot in the history of basketball. Nobody else had a shot. Hey, and not only was it that good, when the man was 40 years old, we need a basket. We'd throw it to Kareem. I mean, gee, and then somebody, Dirk's fadeaway. Dirk's fadeaway is on the same level as the skyhook. You just can't win with these kids. You just can't. Oh man. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It is what it is. Kareem was that guy. Now, this guy right here, this guy, Sideshow 33. I know him. Some people that I know him. I'm not going to say his name. But we know him. He's over here on TikTok. We know who he is. I played with him when I was in college. We love him. Bottom line, Kareem has to start being in that conversation. It can't just be a one-person conversation, man. It just can't be. It can't be a two-person conversation. It can't be just Jordan and LeBron. Kareem's got to be in that conversation. Now, whether you think he's the GOAT or not, that's different. But, and somebody's saying Jokic clears Kareem. Just stop talking. But the bottom line is, he's got to be in that conversation. Period. End of story. So, what if both UConn women and men win it all? We've seen it happen before. And I think we could see it happen again. I'm looking forward to it. Kareem played against your local plumber, though. That's somebody who was born in 2008 and doesn't understand basketball. So, 2008, doesn't understand basketball. But I get it. Matter of fact, I'll just let it go. It's going to be Iowa, South Carolina for the championship. Probably. So, it probably is. I always think it's funny when people say, well, he played against they're playing against plumbers. Well, doesn't that make them one? I mean, I'm just asking questions. Because since that's the ignorant statement that people always try to make, well, doesn't that mean they're a plumber? And they were pretty good for a plumber. LeBron needs to start a new super team. Okay. Who wants to see NC State versus UConn in the final game? I think I do. Or better yet, is anybody even going to beat UConn? So now here, Rob, usually I'm with you. Rob Johnson. I love you, Rob, but do you know how ignorant this statement that you just made? LeBron would have died going to the rim back in the day. Well, first of all, what day are you talking about? I'm assuming you're talking 80s basketball, 80s, 90s basketball. When LeBron, 6'9", 270 pounds, and is the most athletic guy on the court, that guy would have died going to the rim. Somehow Karl Malone made it, and LeBron's bigger than Karl Malone, but somehow LeBron would have died. Come on, Rob. You got to be better, man. You got to be better. Just be better. I get it. You don't like LeBron, and that's fine. Just say you don't like LeBron, but don't make silly comments, bro. You're better than that. I know you're better than that. So I know you're better than that. What's up, people? What is up? Let's see here. I don't know. Big Ben Wallace. What about Big Ben Wallace? The Chiefs found their backup. Did y'all even know that Carson Wentz was still in the league? How's Carson Wentz still in the league? Or why? I guess is a better question. But Wentz still in the league. And apparently he was the backup at the Chargers or the Rams last year. After, I think it was game 11, they signed him. And he was the backup to Stafford. Weird. So, Caitlin Clark is all you'll hear. This whole team got there just her. No, I think people understand that Caitlin Clark, first of all, nobody wins alone. But Caitlin Clark is clearly the star of that team. And if Caitlin Clark's not on that Iowa team, I mean, do they even make the Sweet 16? No. Do they make the tournament? Maybe. But they don't have a team full of stars. They just don't. They got good players, but they don't have a team full of stars. So they just don't. Yeah, she leads in assists. Now, granted, part of the reason that she leads in assists is because she gets all the attention and she's an outstanding passer and she chooses to pass the basketball. Good for her. I mean, so she's got people that can play on her team. So she's got people that can play on her team. Here's something that's funny. Pat Cockrell over on YouTube said Kim Mulkey had a better defensive plan for the Washington Post than for Caitlin Clark. Yeah, that's about right. Kim Mulkey I don't even know if the Iowa coach really did anything other than just do her normal stuff. But I'm going to give her some credit. But Lord, that was just one of the worst game plans by an opposing coach that I've ever seen on a superstar. You put a slow-footed kid that isn't known for defense on the best player in the game, and you expect that to work out? I mean, Van Lith had no business. Oh, my goodness. But whatever. Oh, my gosh. I mean, it was just horrible. Just a horrible plan, man. Just a horrible plan. So, but whatever. Whatever it is, bottom line, Caitlin Clark ate their lunch. She did. She ate their lunch. And it just, period, end of story. Like I mentioned before, it's getting harder for people like me to start to keep denying that she's not the greatest college basketball player ever. It's getting harder to deny that. It's getting harder. So we'll see. Let's see if anybody wants to come up today. Let's see if anybody wants to come up today. I don't know. Does Iowa win it all? They might. I mean, here's the thing. Iowa still got two really tough games. I mean, they got to beat UConn. That's number one. And if they happen to beat UConn, then they have to go and beat most likely South Carolina. That's going to be tough to do. That is going to be tough to do. So we'll see what happens. Nate, what's going on, man? Nate, are you there?
You hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, people saying LeBron wouldn't survive in the 80s and 90s like he's not a 6'9", 270-pound tank.
Correct. Correct.
Also, do you believe that Lamar and Derrick Henry will boost the Ravens' chances this year?
I think that they're going to be just fine as long as they can. I mean, the Ravens lost a lot. So, and I think people are kind of discounting the Ravens or discounting the losses that they took. They lost a lot, including some key pieces on the offensive line. Derrick Henry's going to be an upgrade over any running back that the Ravens had. That's number one. However, if the line isn't the same, it isn't going to matter. I'll just put it like that. So if the line is not the same, it literally is not going to matter.
Well, the Ravens are stubborn, so that they try to go through the draft every year for O lines and think that
Correct.
rookie linemen can hold up in the playoffs.
Right. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep. Thank you. So we'll see what happens. I think Derrick Henry and Lamar could be really good together. And again, Derrick Henry is clearly an upgrade over anything, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Terry, what's up, man?
Yo,
What's
can you
happening?
hear me?
I can hear you.
So, I think so far this year, more on the men's side than the women's side, but I think this year has proven that seeding should not matter just because you're in a Power 5 conference like the SEC or like Big 12 or any of them. I think this year has shown to us that it doesn't matter what school it is. It just matters about the players, the heart in them.
Well, seeding 100% matters because
Well,
if
yeah.
you play a worse team, you get a worse seed. That helps.
Yeah, obviously to a certain extent, but I think this year, with obviously, besides like Purdue and like the obvious people, I think these smaller schools gave a lot of like, I wouldn't discredit NC State. I think they deserved a way better seed than what they got, but
No. Hold on a second. NC State has gotten hot at the right time. Before NC State going into the NCAA or going into the ACC tournament was 17-14 and had lost 5 of their last 7 games. So why would they deserve a better seed than the 11 seed that they got? Like, what did they do to say, hey, we should have been a higher seed than 11? They hadn't done anything. They weren't very good.
Yeah, but I was just like looking towards like the end of the season and that.
Yeah,
stuff,
but you can't look at the end of the season. The seedings, the collective season is what you're based on. It's not just the end of the year. And again, at the end of the year, they were playing lousy. So they were playing terrible at the end of the year. I mean, hell, if they would have lost that game against Virginia where O'Connell made that 40-foot shot bank 3 at the end of regulation, the coach is getting fired. So that's how bad they were, is that the coach was about to get fired. But he banks in a 3 after the Michigan, or not Michigan, the Virginia player was an 82% foul or free throw shooter. 82%. He goes to the line. He misses the first of a 1-and-1. The guy comes in and banks in a 3 at regulation. And
Okay.
I mean, so no, they didn't deserve anything better. They got hot. They got some really good matchups, which in the tournament, matchups mean everything. But no, they didn't deserve to get a higher seed. They're seated exactly where they need to be.
Okay. And then my last one, I don't follow the NIT, but what do you think of like teams that should have made it the NCAA but didn't because they fell short in their conference, and then they say they don't want to play in the NIT? Like, what do you think of that? Like,
I think it's garbage. I think it's garbage. Look, and people are talking about, well, it's the same thing with bowl opt-outs. I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with it either. Because here's the thing. All these guys, the guys that are opting out in bowl games are going to play professional football. That's what they're opting out, is because, hey, I'm going to play pro, so I'm opting out. The guys that are opting out or didn't want to play, first of all, a lot of these are the coaches making the decision that they don't want to play in the NIT like it was beneath them. Now, granted, the NIT kind of is what it is these days, but it is an opportunity to play more basketball. And if you don't make the NCAA tournament, the NIT is there to continue to play. But it was the coaches that didn't want to go play in it. And I think it's ridiculous. But what am I going to do? But I think you're right. It's silly.
yeah, I was looking for like if it was like the team as the players and the coaches came to it, like I'd be fine with it. But like if I was like a player and I was like, I'd kind of be upset about it. But yeah, I definitely get it. But
Well, the thing about it is if the NIT added more money to the payout if you won, more teams would play because the presidents and athletic directors would demand it. But when the payout isn't as great, then the incentive for them to continue to make those guys go play, it goes away. Because when you take into travel expenses and all that kind of stuff, the amount, these are big businesses. They're not some little small business, they're big businesses. So they're thinking, why spend this money when the reward isn't even going to be that great? So the NIT, somebody said the NIT, that JUCO basketball was better than that. No, it's not. The NIT is fine. It's for teams that don't make it. It doesn't mean you're a bad basketball team. Just means you're not as good as the rest. Only 64 teams can get in. I would say 60. First of all, they're talking about expanding the tournament. That's crazy.
yeah, it's more opportunity for injuries, and I don't. It's just more wear and tear for
Well,
teams.
I don't even think that. I don't even think of that. You're right, but I don't even think about that part of it. I think about it as if you expand the tournament. Shouldn't the tournament be something that you earn? Like you earn the right to get into the NCAA.
Yeah.
If they expand it to 122 teams or something like that, is what they're talking about. Hell, you didn't earn anything. You'll have teams that are 17 and 14 that get into the tournament. I'm sorry. Michigan State won a game in the tournament this year, and that's fine because they usually do anyway. But if you have 14 losses on the season, you shouldn't be in the tournament. I don't care. You can talk about you played a tough schedule and all. Hey, how about you win some of those tough games instead of losing? If you lose 14 times in a season, there ain't no damn way you should be in the NCAA tournament. No way, no how. And you got to keep it the same. Somebody said it over here, my man Joshua. Keep the tournament the same. It's you have to. The tournament, the way that it is now, isn't it the best postseason event out there in sports? I mean, for a month, we're glued to this thing. For a month. That's all we care about. So
Definitely. Well, that's all I had to ask. So
no problem, man. Appreciate it.
Yep, you stay safe.
You too. Yeah, man, we gotta start making you earn it. You gotta earn it. And I know somebody said that 24, it's 68 teams. I don't count the play-ins, man. I'm sorry. They did that wrong to begin with when they added the extra conference instead of taking away an at-large bid, which that's all they had to do was take away an at-large bid. They didn't want to do that. So then they added 2 of them or 3. And I'm like, what are we doing? But whatever. But the bottom line is the tournament can't be or shouldn't be changed. I shouldn't say can't be changed because they can change anything. It shouldn't be changed. So, and my man Lawrence here says 128 teams only adds 1 game to everyone to win the championship. It's not about just the one game, Lawrence. It's 128 teams. Why in the hell do 120? There's only what? How many is it? That's almost half of Division One basketball. You're telling me half of Division One basketball deserves to be in the tournament? What are we doing? Basically, everybody from the Big 12 would have been in the tournament, except for Oklahoma State and West Virginia. Everybody from so basically all the power conferences would have gotten everybody in except for the bottom two teams. That's what we want? No, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Stop. Stop. That is insane to think about that. Absolutely insane. It's always good to change. Remember when there were no black players in the tournament? What? I don't even. Hold on a second. So on TikTok, my man here, Nafe Love, is trying to compare adding players or adding unqualified teams to the NCAA tournament when there's nothing wrong with the tournament, trying to compare that to when they added black players? What? What? Come on, man. I mean, I try. Look, personal growth, people. You're testing my personal growth. You're testing my personal growth. I try to be nice to people. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. But you can't say stupid stuff like this and not expect for me to say you're stupid. Okay? I can't. I can't. Look, I understand that black people were at one point not allowed to play basketball. I get that part. I think we all get that part. And allowing them to be in the tournament or allowing them to play college basketball, football, whatever you want to say, that was a necessity because of a human rights issue. Like literally, hey, we're keeping these people out because of the color of their skin. We need to stop that. Having said that, adding unqualified teams to the basketball tournament, which in my opinion is the second greatest postseason sporting event in the United States of America behind the NFL playoffs, that has nothing to do with anybody's civil rights, human rights. It would literally be about money, and there's no reason to make this even worse. So, but somebody said let's keep some other topics. Yeah, let's move on because I can't go that route, man. I can't go that route. So I appreciate it. My boy was in here watching today. He has to run. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate you joining. Anybody else wanting to come up before my man Bishop Ernest Richard coming on the show. What is going on, Mr. Bishop? How are you doing, my man?
Blessings to you, my brother. How are you
I
today?
I am doing well, man. How are you doing?
I don't get too many opportunities and chances to catch a show, but when I do, you know I'm in because you just preach an absolute truth when it comes down to the sports world.
I
Just
appreciate you
so
saying that.
some of you folks know, even us bishops and pastors like to enjoy sports. This is the greatest time of the year,
Yes,
whether
sir.
it's men or women. I'm going to tell you now, I'm a UConn fan, so I'm going to keep it
Ooh,
down to a level.
okay.
The reason why, hey, listen, I'm gonna keep it down to a level. I'm gonna let them do their talking on the court, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna say in advance, I told you so. That's all I'm gonna say. let's
Okay.
move. Let's move forward, though. Caitlin Clark. I see that's one of your topics there. I mean, I got to give her props. I don't understand how she gets to the basket, but she gets it done, man. And I mean, I heard Dawn Staley say earlier in another podcast that she is one of the greatest women of her era. But media is trying to make her one of the greatest women of all time. Excuse me. So we're going to take out the women that played for Tennessee. We're going to remove some of the women from UConn. We're going to take out some of the women that played for Stanford. How about the the WNBA, the Lisa Leslies, and all these Tina Coopers and all these individuals. So how does Caitlin become the greatest when the pioneers before her were the ones that set the precedence in order for her to be part of what she's doing today? No
Well,
disrespect to her. Go ahead.
I agree with part of what you're saying.
Uh
Is
huh.
there are other players. For me personally, I just think there's other, and I don't think anybody's saying she's the greatest to ever play. I think they're talking about college.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
but and as far as that is concerned, there's other players in my personal opinion that I think are better. Like Cheryl
I,
Miller scored over 3,000 points and there was no 3-point
listen,
line. You know,
I
there's
understand.
other players that could do more on the court than what she can do. Now, that doesn't take away how great she is, because she is. But
Hmm.
having said that, I don't think that because there were pioneers that paved the way, that doesn't mean that other players behind them can't be better than them. So
And
that's
no,
where I go
that's always
past
going to
you.
happen. See, that's always going to happen because where there's one good, there's going to be one even better, and where there's
Absolutely.
one even better, there's going to be one even better, and
Yes.
it has to keep building like that. My thing with the media is, come on now, and I want to be careful how I say stuff because I am a man of the cloth. I see people, I don't see color.
Sure.
But the media has a way of subliminally causing color to become a factor. Knock that crap off. The truth of the matter is, she's just a great player who happens to be Caucasian. Let's get over it. I mean, let her be who she is. Angel Reese, the grace, I mean, over the last year, the turmoil that my dear sister went through. But hey, listen, she bowed out gracefully yesterday. I can't wait to see her in the WNBA. I know she's going to be a beast. That injury in the second quarter kind of slowed her down a little bit. But my question to you is, let's do a hypothetical. She stays healthy, doesn't get injured in the second quarter. You think they're talking about Caitlin Clark today?
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely. Caitlin Clark lit them on fire. There was nothing Angel Reese was going to do about that.
not
Absolutely
now.
nothing. I'm not saying Angel Reese wasn't going to play better. I mean, she shot 7 for 21. She got hurt. We can all
Hmm.
respect that and feel bad about that. But
Hmm.
she wasn't going to defend Caitlin Clark. I
No.
mean, Caitlin Clark was still going to score just as many points, if not more, because if the game would have been closer, who
Uh
says that
huh.
she doesn't keep shooting and keep
She's the
making
go-to.
shots?
Exactly. And then coach of LSU says, "I'm glad you leaving." I cracked up. So what are you trying to say, lady? Anyway, bottom line is, I'm looking forward to the Final Four on both sides, especially
Yeah.
for the men, and I'm hoping for the UConn Purdue matchup because I want to see the two big men go at it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
kind of think that's going to be a classic match right there. But Alabama ain't no pushover. I know we beat them last year in the Sweet 16. All right, that was last year. A couple of players left. They got a couple of new players. The coach had an opportunity to visit that. We're going to leave that right where it is. NC State, the Cinderella, even though they don't want to call them a Cinderella, they're doing what UConn did back in 2014.
Correct.
They're running the gamut, and they're running under the radar. And I'm going to simply say this: the basketball world, those three teams left, pay attention because if you don't, they're going to smack you in the mouth. Next thing you know, you're going to need a dentist. Keep on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking forward. First of all, let's start with the women. I'm looking forward to the UConn Iowa game. I think it's going to be great.
Yes.
I think NC State, if NC State shoots the way they shot the other day, they're going to give South Carolina everything that they can handle. You
That's
know,
right.
South Carolina is the better team. They're going to dominate inside. But if NC State continues to shoot that basketball like that, the game is going to be closer than what a lot of people think that it is. Flipping over to the men, I don't know that anybody's going to be able. Look, Alabama is playing great, but if they're going to get into an up and down game with UConn, they're asking for
No
trouble
chance. It's right.
because Alabama doesn't guard anybody. That's the
Hmm.
thing that nobody seems to understand, or I
Uh
shouldn't
huh.
say nobody. A lot of people don't understand. Alabama guards nobody.
You're right.
So
You're
if they're going
right.
to get up and down with UConn, they're going to give up 100 points, and they're
They
not going
are.
to score 100 points against UConn. So they're going to
They're not.
get beat. So they got to
Now,
try to do something different. Even if Alabama's making a bunch of threes, it's not going to matter if you can't stop the other team.
now throw one more factor in there. Alabama goes 6 deep, I believe, 7 deep. UConn goes 9 deep, and can go 10 deep.
Yes.
So, I mean, and every one of them coming on there is a potential double-digit scorer. I'm talking
Yes.
about all 10 of them.
All 10 of them. You're
And
right.
then we call up in the, I'm originally from Connecticut. We call Donovan Clingan the Great Wall of Bristol. He's from Bristol, Connecticut. We call him the Great Wall of Bristol. And we got, and of course they call him Dan Hurley, Dan the Hitman Hurley, because he's always got this chip on his shoulder.
He does.
He's got that, and I hope I don't think I get in trouble with this. So I'll say it like this: he's got that mentality. You sleep with the fishes.
Yes. Yes.
But I love it, But my brother, I'll be back on your show, man. I know I just
Appreciate
told you
it.
some stuff today, man. You're awesome. I appreciate you giving people a chance to talk. And when my man Nate Love said what he said, Nate, Western Kentucky is the reason why they changed that whole dynamic with African American players. They came out and punched Kentucky in the mouth, and Kentucky never woke up from that. And from that point on, here we are. Just let's be glad we're here. Hopefully, I get to see. Hey, don't laugh at me, okay, bro? I'm waiting to see some Indians and Mexicans make a move in the NBA somewhere.
I understand. I understand.
God bless you, my brother. Heaven smile upon you. We'll catch you again later.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate your time today.